and welcome to the N2 the Chatterverse with Bill and
Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics. Oh yes, I love the switch, the flip flop. It was so good. I love it. We're gonna make you do that all the time now. You do that wonderfully.
all right. So this is your topic, so
Yeah.
you get to start it.
Yes. Okay. So one of the things that the MCU is keen on right now is bringing in mutants. We've got 2 showcases of characters identified as mutants. One with Kamala Khan and then Namor, and obviously the X-Men are on the horizon, right? And when I say 2, we're specifically saying the 616 universe because we have showcases in other universes of mutants. We had Professor X show up in Multiverse of Madness, and spoilers, at the end of the Marvels, we had Beast in their showcase, but we don't know what universe that is. So sticking with the MCU 616, whatever they want to call that, we want to know the top 5 characters that we would want to see be introduced as the X-Men. So if we can pick from the entire gamut of mutantdom, what 5 characters would we want to kind of showcase this super team of the X-Men? Now, 5 is not just randomly picked out of nowhere. It is the one kind of callback to the origin of the X-Men. Being in 1963, the X-Men start off with a team of 5 teenagers by way of Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, who was more slushy at the time, Angel, and newcomer Marvel Girl Jean Grey. And this is kind of, I think, the perfect sort of homage, if you will, of keeping it just 5 to kind of start things off. Now, we could go deeper into this and kind of pick categories for these characters if you want to. Bill, do you want to do that, or you just want to keep it?
I think if you throw it in there, that's fine.
All
But
right.
I don't think you have to keep it to, well, this is the guy that I want to,
Perfect.
make all our weapons kind of stuff.
I love it. But before we get into that, though, so I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago, our buddy Rob Jefferson of Comics Explained on YouTube, he had a Twitter thread where he was talking about how he would want to see the mutants kind of showcased in the MCU, and it was a brilliant sort of idea. Did you get to see that at all?
I did not.
Okay, it got taken down, and I've talked to Rob since then, and it was funny because his his friend Mariah was like, "You need to take this down because this could be a thing, and you need to take it down. Like, stop that." And so he takes it all down, calls me, and he's like, "Well, what do you think of this idea?" And I'm like, "It's friggin' amazing." And I threw in a couple of things to, add on to it. And he's like, "Yes, all of that. I love it." And so who knows if this is anything of the sort, but from his framework, just as a very loose thing, mutants have always been in the MCU. He has created the framework of that. And I think that works for me. I don't necessarily want it to be where it's a matter of the snap has suddenly ignited mutantdom, because one, I think that there should be a range of people with more control over their powers than others because they've had it longer.
Okay, my only problem with mutants have always been in the MCU
Mm-hmm.
is that outside of like a TV show, we haven't even heard the word
That is true.
being used.
That is true.
So if they've been there the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
you would think, well, okay. I guess now that I think about it, because I'm thinking of the Eternals,
Yes.
and we have this huge thing in the Indian Ocean
Stupid.
that no one that we've had one reference to.
As a side article.
Yeah, and
Ridiculous.
so yeah, I can see where that's a thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I believe that mutants have been in the MCU the whole time. Sure, why not? I don't care. Though the reality is, no, they haven't been because they didn't own the
They
rights.
didn't have the rights to them.
So
But his explanation is that Charles has been hiding them. Like Charles is
well,
specifically.
my problem right there is that okay, Charles has been hiding them.
Right.
But then Charles is not a small figure.
No.
That's like saying that the president has been hiding,
That's a good one. That's a good
mutants
one.
too. But we're not going to talk about the president.
Right. Well, I do think that's one of those fun pieces of Americana when it comes to the character of Charles Xavier, because there's when you're talking about him as a character in the Marvel Comics universe, he only pops up in reference to mutants. It's not like, if you go back and read the book Marvels by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross, like you don't see Charles go to school with like Reed, or he knew Tony Stark's dad. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
okay.
see that, right?
But at least they could have, at some point in time, said, I got my education at the school
Right.
where, my professor seemed to know a lot about me without me saying anything.
Without me saying
I mean,
anything,
it was right there. It would just say, right,
be perfect.
That's Charles Xavier.
That would be perfect. Okay. Side note, because you just said that and that's brilliant. Who would go to that school? I think Riri would have gone to that school. Riri Williams, as anyone that's established in current MCU structure, she went to that school before she went to MIT.
Well, so from the get-go, I've always thought that Hawkeye was a mutant.
Oh. Okay.
Because he's able to do the things he's able to do without looking.
Right. Innately, he can just know where
and I'm
things
like,
are.
this guy's a mutant.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
I would have gone with Clint right off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like that. I think I threw out that there should be some connection to Armin Zola's algorithm. That part of the way that Charles has been using Cerebro to find mutants, it's this identifying marker, and Armin Zola's algorithm for finding potential threats is based off of some of the work that Charles had done to try to figure that out. And he took it and went in his very Hydra way about it. But again, just trying to integrate more into things that have always been there, which I think is kind of fun. But that's me. That's how I like to run. Okay, so you want to do whole team, or you want to go back and forth?
We can go back and forth. That's fine.
Yes, I like that. Okay, so I want to start off with something a little different, a little off the beaten path, if you will, of character starts. And who would be my leader for this team is going to be Storm. Okay. I want her to be older. I think that's very important. And I think that in the context of the theme of mutants being hated and feared for being different, it is important for someone who openly has a visible, experience, we'll call it, with that idea of being visibly hated because you're just born different. As a black woman, I think Storm hits that mark wonderfully. But even taking it to a deeper context of, in the black community, there are isms against black people and Africans. And what's really interesting with Storm is she actually was born in America, but she was raised in Africa, and a lot of people don't know that. And so I think that would be a great cipher for that whole conversation.
Is that the original way that was written?
No, originally they said she was from Kenya.
Yeah,
but it has been retconned,
and that's the Brooklyn. Character is
right.
50 years old, whatever, 40, 50 years old.
What are we? 75? So tiptoeing towards.
It would be 49 years old.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, it's right around there, 50 years.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's I mean, how many different iterations of Batman and Superman and Spider-Man?
Absolutely. So yeah, that would be my first pick is Storm.
My first pick's Puck.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, hold on. So, are we specifically aiming to go international on purpose here, or you just?
I just like Puck. Short guy.
Such a hockey fan. I love it.
He's a short guy.
Right?
He does a lot of cartwheels.
He does.
He's got a weird ear. He always seemed like a fun character to me.
Absolutely.
And why not have a fun character in there?
That's a good one.
By the way, going back to the Iceman thing, when you call him Slushy, he was a snowman.
He was a snowman. The
only thing that was missing was the carrot for a nose.
He does that. He does that in the first issue.
Right, and he should.
Yeah,
because,
he totally does that.
Yeah.
That's too funny. But where's Boots? Because, you can't have barefoot.
Right.
Snowman.
Well, yeah, because he might slip.
I love that you pick Puck, especially because obviously we're terrible people as a society, but when Peter Dinklage was first cast as a part of the X-Men franchise, everyone assumed that he was going to be Puck.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying that he should have been, but that would have been amazing.
But him being Trask was fine.
He was great as Trask.
Yeah.
It just made it that much more sinister. But obviously for physicality's sake, the
Right.
assumption was that he was going to be Puck. Do you have an actor in mind to be Puck?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean, and I feel it doesn't have to be someone short.
Also true.
They
Very
can
true.
make him short.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Though, I mean,
seen
if
it with the
we're
Hobbits.
being PC and everything,
Right.
it's so easy to go dinklage on that.
It
But also,
is.
the problem would be his age.
Right. There's a comedian, and I am failing on his name right now. I love him. He's on TikTok all the time. I see these little snippets of him. I think he would be amazing, especially as a comic. Like, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And I think that would be amazing. I would like that a lot. Okay, so, way to come in with Puck. That hits so hard. I love it. My next one, who, if we were going to give a reference, big shout out to the Break Room and their association with New Rock Stars. They did a similar kind of showcase, and they had a category that I think if I were to pick any sort of category to emulate, this would be it. And it's who is the audience cipher or the avatar that we're following coming into this. And that would be, for me, Doug Ramsey cipher. The reason why I like Doug is I think he is one of the most underused mutants ever. Currently coming off of the Krakoan age in comics, he has been the person that communicates with Krakoa itself and has been, elevated in his importance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this great, history with the New Mutants and his friendship with Warlock, which has been great. But in all honesty, I think Doug could be positioned as one of the most powerful mutants because, for those that don't know, he is able to decipher and speak any sort of language that he comes across. And one of the things that I've never seen actually showcased about him is his fighting prowess. And I think anyone that's a fighter understands that there is a language involved with fighting. We've seen it with Batman. We've seen it with Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, that the idea of reading a person physically is a language that you can speak. And that would be something interesting that, as Doug grows in his abilities, starts to be able to figure out, like, he's actually an amazing fighter because he's reading people like language, but we don't know that yet. He thinks he's got like a weak sauce power, and everyone else kind of looks at it that same way until he steps in to his own position. But I think that would kind of be a brilliant sort of showcase, and I love the idea of a nurturing Storm who takes on Doug to kind of be like, hey, you might think that I just make it rain. I control weather. There's a lot more to that than making sparkle fingers. Like, nah, I can rack some stuff for real.
I'm gonna go with Magic.
Okay, Puck and Magic. Why do I love the character dynamic possibilities right there, because what level of Magic are we at here? Is she like full on?
I would go early
Limbo?
on.
Oh,
before she's realized her powers type thing.
Okay.
Because you don't want to make her too
It's fair. That's fair.
Phoenix-like.
Yeah.
Than Dark Phoenix. Or, if you go with the movies, straight to Dark Phoenix.
Right.
I like the idea of her growing into the character type thing.
Ooh, that's
And the only reason I picked her over Peter is because if I picked Peter, I had to pick Wolverine.
Because you need that fastball special.
You need to be a fastball special.
You need it. God, you need it.
You can't have one without the other.
That's
and then
true.
you also have to get Kitty Pryde, and I'm like, this is the
It
reason
almost
that I
writes
don't
itself.
want to do.
No, I totally get that one.
No, and I just, I'm going for, I guess, a white international feel right now.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, but,
Well, I mean, even if you take today's climate into considerations, I think there's a lot that actually can be said on a socio-political level with these two characters alone. You've got Ileana, who grows up in the USSR, and if you make it modern, she's growing up in the fall of the USSR, so she might be more Ukrainian than Russian.
Yeah.
And so, you have Puck, who's coming from Canada with universal healthcare and all kinds of wonderful things like that, and them having conversations about what life can be, should be, her looking at Puck like, yo, you soft. Like, you didn't have to struggle like we did. We were at war, like, all the time, or we had famines. Like, you don't know nothing about this. That would be fun. I like where you're at with that one, actually. I like that a lot. I want to throw in a romantic sort of twist of sorts, and so I'm going to add in Forge. I think having Forge be another elder statesman member of the team, creating technology, which is a brainy sort of situation, but also militaristic, if you will,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. But his long form relationship with Storm, that's right. Storm liked Forge before she liked Black Panther, because we're not doing that pandering black on black relationship stuff because there's no real reason for it. I think them being kind of the Jean and Scott of this team would be absolutely fascinating. And for Cypher to have someone that he kind of has a simpatico with, where Forge makes things, people don't know. Forge can make things, but doesn't necessarily understand why he made it.
Right.
And so Doug could kind of be this one that kind of translates for him what he's doing. And he immediately like loves Doug because he doesn't have to explain himself in a way that he has to with everyone else. And he can't do it. I think that would be super fun. Absolutely fantastic.
And the only thing I'll say about the relationship between Storm and Black Panther, I never read it,
You didn't need
but there's something to say about physical attraction. It tends to be why people start dating.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway,
Absolutely.
not saying that it doesn't work out in the end anyway.
Sure.
My pick,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sticking with the white.
That's so terrible for you to say it that way. Go for
Well,
it. It is what it is.
long shot.
Okay, now you're opening up mad doors, sir.
So, and he looks white,
right?
but
He's from the Mojoverse.
he's somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's a character that they fumbled. I don't understand. It was one of the more popular characters,
Very.
and they somehow fumbled it in the X-Men universe.
That's
I'm like,
true.
there's so much you could have done with this.
Oh man. That's
and
true.
things just work out for him. He doesn't know why. Kind of like with your character.
Yeah. He's like, why is this? Okay, cool. I guess I'm just lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
And
lucky.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good one. That is a really, really good choice. Do you open up doors for the Mojoverse? Like,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It,
Is he is he and the Mojoverse like the key of the story, or this is just something in the background?
there's something in the background. That's fine.
I like that.
I think you need to establish the team long before you decide what the rest of the stories are going to be.
Yeah.
You can go, I want to make sure that these characters work well together, and then
Right.
and then we could at some point in time explore this, explore that. But it's not a main focus by any means.
Man, that's
It's just
a good
like,
one.
you go into a first season on a show,
Right.
and you've got a cast of characters, you got to make them mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And you throw in hints here and there, and maybe a little more story if it's the main character. And then in the second season, you start exploring the other ones.
Oh, that's cool.
Or, first 12 issues,
Right.
you explore everything. And then once you've established all that, you bring in whatever the next baddie is and decide whose story you're going to tell.
Oof. I like that.
And those can interconnect, or they don't have to. It doesn't,
Right.
as long as it's told well enough.
Yeah.
Which, once again, that's not the easy thing to do.
True. Wow, that's a good one. I want some power, right? Long form power. Not saying that Storm doesn't do it, but I want Alex Summers Havoc on this team.
Yeah.
I think you kind of have to have a Summers on an X-Men team. I think it's good and proper.
Yeah.
But I did not love what they did with Alex in X-Men First Class and that entire line. I didn't like X-Men First Class at all. Let me just be honest about that. Wasn't a fan. So I would really want to give Alex a shot at something. And he is one that I think has an interesting sort of showcase about relative control of his power, but maybe a fear of using his power that I think would be fun to play with, where, everyone was like, Alex, do it. And he's like, I don't really want to. And he was like, no, we need you to do it. He's like, okay. Yeah. And boom, just unleashes on people, which I think would be fantastic.
Well, I think that's a solid choice, but I would have gone with Scott if
Really?
you had Forge.
I mean,
because then he makes him the glasses,
I get that.
and it makes more sense.
See, I didn't want to do Scott because I think the immediate argument of leadership becomes a problem between him and Storm. And they did that in the books, and there's so many people that if Scott is on the table, he is almost assumed de facto leader. And
Yeah, I get that.
So I just thought I'd give it Summers, but let's go Alex, because not that Alex isn't a leader. He was a leader of X Factor for a while, but just want to.
But also, you have to think of it in terms of you're writing the book.
True.
So Scott doesn't have to be a leader.
No, and he would not.
I never really felt that Cyclops was a great leader anyway, no matter how you portray him.
True.
I'm a little stumped right now.
Uh-oh.
Because I would like to go Storm, but I'm not going to go Storm.
I mean, you could.
Yeah. You know what? I will go Storm.
Okay.
With the Mohawk.
Oh! Does she have powers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's...
the powers... Well, she probably at first doesn't have them, gets them back, and has the attitude to go with it.
Nice. Okay.
And I would make her the leader.
Okay.
And make her responsible
for everything.
Her actions.
I like that a lot. That's a good one.
I just like the idea of Storm, because early on it was like the way you said. Here comes a thunderstorm.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
no!
Oh, sparkle fingers.
But she could basically do almost anything that Iceman can, without actually forming
ice on
the
herself.
Sled or whatever it is he's doing, or but she can make it really cold really quickly.
Yeah,
she can make it really windy.
Definitely,
she could take the air out of everything.
I want to say a recent book by Al Ewing, I think it's Immortal Thor. They said that she, through control of the weather, can affect atmospheric pressure. And so she punches Thor with the pressure of Jupiter. Like, she's not limited to Earth-based weather systems. She can do it anywhere. And so she hits him with the atmospheric pressure of Jupiter. And I'm like, that's wild.
That's interesting, but also how the hell would she know that?
So in the midst of the current Krakoan age, they're traveling different planets. Like,
okay.
She's like, her and I can't remember who all did it, went and colonized Mars. Like, through the use of their powers, went and colonized Mars, created atmosphere that was, successful for them. And that was kind of the basis of showing that on a planetary level, she is not restricted to just Earth-based weather. She can do these things in other places, and it just kind of built on that, which I think is cool. I wouldn't necessarily have her at that level of power in my stuff, but I do like that concept. I'm looking at your framework here, and there's just different interactions that I think are freaking brilliant. Like Storm and Puck, have they ever interacted? Really?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh my God, I can't imagine what kind of relationship that they would have. Puck would always be trying to flirt with her. I feel like Puck would try to climb that tree. I think he would. And I think she might be into it. She might be like, I'll let this little guy get a shot. Like, what's up, short king? Like, well, I got you. I think that's fun. All right, my last one. This is tough because right now team is so very much so lopsided, male dominated. Even though Storm is in the lead position, she's the only female on the team, and I feel like I should absolutely go female-centric, particularly because I don't necessarily have a physically strong person, so I'm really rooting towards Rogue in that place and space. As a subset, I did have like Wolfsbane as a potential, but no, I think it should be Rogue. But obviously, with this being MCU, she has not acquired powers from Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, however you want to look at it.
Carol Danvers.
Yeah, she hasn't taken Carol's powers yet. So that does put her kind of back a little bit, but I'm okay with it. So yeah, I'm gonna go Rogue on that one, just because I think that there's some interesting sort of pieces here. But this is a lot of characters that have a sensibility about their powers, but not total mastery of their powers, and I think that's important for this team. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Rogue.
Okay.
especially without the powers of Ms. Marvel.
Right.
Just means she can't fly.
Nope, she can't fly. Or if she does fly, she has to borrow that from other people, and that's not going to be easy. So,
Right.
Yeah, I do like that.
Sasquatch.
God bless it.
It gives me the smarts.
It does.
And it gives me a guy that, is pretty super strong and
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. Obviously cool with Puck.
Yeah.
I like your Alpha Flight mix in here, man. That's a good one. That is a really good one. Damn. Good call. Good call.
By the way, this is all off the top of my head.
It's really
The last 25 minutes.
It works though. It works so well. It works really well. Okay, so to recap your squad, which is freaking good. All right, you started with Puck.
Yep.
Ileana Magic.
Yep.
Long Shot.
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm so mad at that. Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And now Sasquatch.
No, the only problem there is that I did not pick an original X-Men.
Neither did I. So I think that kind of works.
Now, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Since we're not recapping yours.
I could. Do you want me to recap it real quick?
Who puts the team together?
I think it should be Charles.
Yeah, I think it's Xavier.
Yeah,
still.
yeah, it's got to be Charles. It's his dream. Like at the core, all the differences of any of this stuff.
I mean, it could be Bruce Wayne. But no,
together a team.
Xavier is fine.
There's a war coming, and we got to get in front of it. Yeah, definitely Xavier. Would it be Xavier by himself?
I mean, I don't see that working.
Okay.
It worked fine in the 60s.
Yeah.
I just don't think today he's able to do it all by himself.
Yeah. No.
And I don't know who he brings in for that.
I know who I want.
I don't really care. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be Magneto.
No, it would not be Magneto. It would be, based on current MCU, it would be Nick Fury. Fury would be the guy that knows of Charles.
Yeah.
Might even know that Charles has been doing this for this entire time and been like, I understand why you're doing that. And
is this because Sam Jackson really needs the work?
Does he though? I mean,
joking.
I'm sure his residuals are great. But no.
I think he signed a 50 film contract, and he's on 30 now.
He's not too bad. I know that was the joke that Mark Miller said when they used Sam's likeness as Fury in the Ultimate series, and he didn't ask for his permission. They thought that he would never find out because they didn't know he was a comic book fan. And so they're like, oh, it's Sam Jackson. Like, he's too popular. He'll never know that we did this. It's fine. Just do it. And come to find out, Sam is a huge comic book reader, like, has been forever. And when they were on the set of Kingsman, Mark apologized to him. He's like, you know what? I owe you an apology. Like, we didn't think that you would ever know that we did this.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, you got me a 9-picture deal. You're good. Like, we're square. You are square.
The thing that kills me about that is, like, we didn't think Sam would see it. Does the man not have friends?
They just thought that he was.
I mean, come on.
He was too popular. Like, even his friends wouldn't dare find themselves.
Oh, absolutely. They would go. This guy looks an awful lot like you.
Looks a lot like. I mean,
especially if they're looking out for him. If they're actually his friends.
Also true. But I mean, we're talking 2002, right? So social media wasn't what it was.
You still have friends. It's not like the man lives in a bubble and he doesn't hang out with anyone at all.
Yeah. No, because to give some credence here, we're talking a Scotsman and a Brit who have no idea what sort of circles an American like Sam Jackson actually hangs out in. So they're like, nah, he's just cool. He just walks the streets. He doesn't know anybody for real that would go to a comic shop. He's too cool for that.
When was Unbreakable made?
2000. Yeah, so they should have known. They should have known better. They should have known. They just didn't think they didn't think he was that guy. They just literally were like, we just thought for sure that it would just be like, that's funny, haha.
I read the Ultimates. I thought it was really well done and everything. But if I ever met Mark Miller, I think I would have to question him a lot. The idea that, well, they'll never see this. Like, who thinks that way?
He totally did. Which I confirmed with Brian Hitch at dinner last year in New York. I was like, is that true? And he's like, it is true. We totally never thought that he would see it. Like, we just, and that was the funny part was, it was the second time that they did it, or his was the first. They did it a second time, and they got in trouble for the second time, which was they put Shannon Elizabeth in a book, and they got in trouble for that because she found out and actually said something about it, to which they chalked that up like, oh, well, she's a young American. Maybe that's how it happened. They had no idea that, no, like, you can't just do stuff like that.
Well, so who told her?
I'm guessing Jason Biggs, because I see him as a total nerd.
Living
in a comic shop.
There are people that work for
that should be doing those types of things.
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely. And to also be fair, the portrayal of her might not have been in the best. Where she was a random hookup. What book was Tony. This? In Ultimates. Yeah, she was a random hookup of Tony Stark's.
Oh,
yeah, he was showing off by flying her into orbit.
Was it like actually Shannon Elizabeth, or was it?
It was supposed to be.
Well, no, by name.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was early episodes or early issues of it. They put her in, and I want to say.
But again, it's been forever since I read that. So
fair. But it's still fun to go and check out. But I like it. But yeah, I would say that Nick Fury is in cahoots, at least aware of what Charles is doing, and I would even say that as a saving grace to Secret Invasion, that there's a connection as to the new global xenophobia, and him going to Charles going like, hey, you might need to get a team together to protect y'all because people are upset, knowing that these aliens were out here this whole time. If they find out about y'all, it's gonna be the same thing.
Well, then I would hope that Xavier would come back with, clearly you haven't been keeping your eye on me. No pun intended, by the way.
Good job. I like it. So yeah, that's a good team. That's a really good team you have. Yeah.
I mean, we played games similar to this.
Yeah.
When we went to Nashville.
Oh, we did.
But it was casting.
Right. Oh, I don't know who I would cast. That'd be.
We'd have to think about that.
Yeah. That would be a fun one though. If there was anyone that stood out for any of your characters, as you got to get this one right, who would it be?
You know what? Probably Sasquatch.
Okay.
Because I think that I can't remember his alter ego.
Walter.
Something or another.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be a big dude.
Okay. Alan Richardson.
And I totally agree with that.
Yes.
Absolutely agree with that.
That would be dope.
Put glasses on him and look smart.
Yeah. I would rock with it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Alan Richardson's not smart.
Right.
But he would look smart.
Yeah, he would look it. He would look the part incredibly so. The one that I'm most concerned with is Forge. Yeah.
Isn't he indigenous?
Yes, he is. And by way of that, I don't know specifics of how he identifies as an indigenous person. So I don't want to miscast, right?
Well, then you do your due diligence.
I mean, you're absolutely right. But that's why off the top of my head, I can't name somebody that I would put in that role because of that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. He's one that I would have to sincerely think about. I think for Cypher though, we can pick any sort of Disney kid that's ready to step into the big leagues. I would love that.
Who just played Ezra?
in
Ahsoka.
Iman, yeah, he would be fun.
I loved him in that character.
Yeah, he would be a really fun Forge.
Yeah.
Oh. Ambiguously brown enough.
I just thought he was great.
No, he is good, but I like where you're going with that. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's solid. All right, so Kevin, hit us up. Clearly we've got ideas for you. You know how to reach us. We've seen each other at San Diego. We were 6 rows back to the left.
Yeah. We wore your hat at one point in time.
Yeah, we definitely wore your hat. We abided by the rules. We didn't have our phones out. Yeah. So, we're trustworthy.
Well,
when
I didn't have my phone out.
When we weren't supposed to. We didn't have our phones out. We knew better. We were extra good about that. So, yeah, no. We were, hit us up. We got ideas. But thank you guys for tuning in, checking out our list here. We kind of want to know. Hit us up and let us know what your top 5 X-Men choices would be. And if you want to throw some rationales behind it, go for it. I think we should probably have them check us out on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that. We call it
Twitter. We call it Twitter. That's fine.
Twitter. What's your Twitter handle so people can tag you in it, sir?
I am at Naroon.
And I am at Vantage In-House. So definitely give us some feedback on that one, and we will tweet you back and rate your choices. If they're trash, we're going to tell you. We're going to tell you they're trash. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, no, we are.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, absolutely
no,
are.
You're right. If you pick Morph, talk about you. I'm going to talk about you bad. But thank you again for tuning into the Chatterverse, where 2 gents give their 2 cents on pop media. Once again, I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Annoying Bill.
Not Annoying Bill now. Okay. All right. It's your mutant name. I like it.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.